so is the entire point of human existence just to defeat the ego? It's not even a defeat. That's too violent. I don't feel like I don't want to defeat it. I want to, let it know that it can rest, you know? I don't want to kill it. Everything about the ego is so aggressive. It's all about an ego death. It's about dismantling the ego. So instead, how can I just put that thing to sleep? How can I give it unlimited PTO? Like, it tries so hard to be here and control, and it's like a micromanager. Your ego is the constant, never-ending micromanager of all things. I feel like that's okay. So then that makes me pose the question, actually, isn't the whole point of having a human experience to learn to coexist with your ego? Because can you really kill it, or can you really put it to bed at all? And then I'll say, okay, if you are going to just completely eliminate the ego altogether, you pretty much are a monk sitting in complete stillness and silence and solitude and darkness on a mountain in Asia. And while yes, that certainly does seem nice, when my kids are screaming and I'm mad about work, I definitely wish I could be a monk in the mountains of Tibet. But that doesn't mean I want to do that every second of every day. I can pretty confidently say that, the absolute pinnacle of human life experience, again, in my opinion, is not like sitting completely still in some state of never-ending peace and fulfillment. I don't know. And then I'm even gonna call out the monks for their ego, because did and do monks not abandon other potential relationships in which they could be positively contributing to someone else's life? Didn't they have a mom that they could have helped into old age? Don't they have, I'm sure they don't have kids. I think they're virgins. But, I don't know. You're just gonna sit in this is like, and here's my ego now being upset with, and even as I'm rambling about all this, I feel like I'm understanding why the whole point is really just to learn how to coexist with yours. And you know what? is there benefit to using it? Like, how can we take the reins of our ego and say, you know what, maybe right now I do need a little bit of it? Because also, we live, I forget who said this is a famous quote, is it Kamala? We live in a society, and while sometimes I feel like I get upset about the games that we might have to play in society these days, it's the map that you're on. So it's the game you're playing. You might as well pick up the controller. Because then I think back to like Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, which I don't know them off the top of my head. I haven't even read the book, but I've listened to a 20-minute YouTube video multiple times that talk about each of the laws briefly, as you can tell, in roughly 30-second intervals. But aren't all of those laws of power rooted in some form of like ego? It's either an ego protection or kind of an ego flex in a way. And like, while I truly do understand that it is a very powerful position, you put yourself in a very powerful position when you don't feel like you have to appear better than your leader to eventually, end up in their role, or if that's what you're after. You don't have to prove it, You don't have to outshine them. You succeed and hold your own power actually by thriving where you're supposed to be thriving. I got a little far off my central thesis there, and I can't quite remember what I was trying to pull that back into. Why did I start talking about the 48 Laws of Power? Oh yeah. Taking the reins. So wait a minute. If I want to apply the 48 Laws of Power to taking power over my ego, and I hesitate right now because doesn't the ego almost thrive when it doesn't know it's being watched? Like, think about the only time your ego really jumps to the forefront of your thoughts or your actions. And I don't know, maybe this is the whole point. But anyways, I'm getting at like never outshine the master and all that. So how do you even know this is it? And we're wrapping up here on time, but this proves to us that we've talked in a circle for 10 minutes now about the ego's role in our lessons in this human experience. And ultimately, I don't think it's about killing it. I think it's about coexisting with it, controlling it, and by that you have the ability to disengage it and give it the day off, give it some much needed PTO.